Good morning. So welcome. These things are always hard to get used to until you figure out exactly how far back you have to be. So, I'm Mike Neugent. I am Reverend Mitra for the day. Not really, but those are shoes I can't fill. So welcome. It's a joy to be here. Probably a little intimidating, but that's all part of the game, right? And so we don't spring any surprises on you. After we do the chalice lighting, I'm going to invite Jeff to come in. Jeff is the custodian. Today happens to be his birthday. So I'm going to invite you to join us in singing Jeff happy birthday this morning as a way to start out. Jeff does obviously a lot around here and kind of like a person behind the scenes. So it's, I think, nice to recognize that and give him that appreciation. We're also going to suggest that he take the beautiful flowers today home as part of his birthday celebration. So, Claire, are we ready? All right, so good morning. Melissa Rowland is our worship associate this morning. So we are going to tap dance our way through this. As some of you know, my background is I spent 6 years studying to be a Catholic priest, so I somewhat grew up Catholic. But kind of reminds me of a Jesuit mass. So the joke when I was in seminary is a Jesuit mass was valid as long as nobody got hurt. So we're going to take that same approach. Everything's going to work as long as nobody gets hurt. So Melissa, go for it. So if you can join me in the chalice lighting. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the helping hands. This is the church of the loving heart. Together we care for the church and each other. So Jeff, are you hiding in the background someplace? He was back in the kitchen. We may have to go get him. He was a little hesitant. Yes, please. Come on, Jeff. Come on. He's being shy. So we're not going to ask you how many. No, you don't have to answer. Hey, great. So what we do want to do, though, is help you celebrate this day with you. So I'm not the choir director, so if you can join me in singing Jeff happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jeff. Happy birthday to you.
Good morning. I'm Melissa Rowland, your worship associate today. Mitra Jafarzada is our settled minister. She is currently in Transylvania visiting our sister church at St. Laszlo. Michael Neugent is our speaker today. Welcome to St. John's Unitarian Universalist Church. This is a welcoming congregation. We welcome you regardless of your sexual orientation, gender identity, race, ethnicity, or any of the other ways that you may be that beautiful and unique person that you are. We welcome you. Please put your electronic devices in worship mode, and again, welcome. Let's say the affirmation together. You'll find it in your order of service. This is the mission of our faith: to teach the fragile art of hospitality, to revere both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to witness to all that we must hold the whole world in our hands. Please open your hymnal to number 20, Be Thou My Vision. Kathy, oh, she's already up, thank you. I'm going to ask Joetta Prost to come up to give us our pledge moment.
Well, you know, sometimes at St. John's we do double duty. Well, today I'm kind of doing triple duty. I'm on the tech team monitoring the live stream, and I'm here to talk with you about the pledge campaign. So my name's Joetta Pro. I know many of you, and I have the privilege and pleasure of serving again this year as your pledge campaign coordinator. I'm here to give you an update. It's been about a month since we mailed all members and friends a packet of information about the budget and our recent giving levels. That envelope also included a small gift. Has anyone planted their seeds yet? Not yet? The weather hasn't been, hey, Monica has, all right. And we also included a request that you tell us the amount of your financial pledge, financial support that you'll contribute for the fiscal year that starts July 1. All right, who remembers the date by which we asked you to make your pledge? Hey, all right, Claire, she's had to put it in the e-news, so nobody else remembered, but thank you, Claire. All right, some of you may wonder if my setting that date was a bit of irony, perhaps, a play on the line from the Christian Bible, Matthew chapter 22, where Jesus said, "Render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's." However, in truth, my goal was just to focus on a well-known deadline. And today, I want to remind you that this Friday is April 15th, in case you haven't done your taxes and in case you haven't made your pledge. Are you wondering, surely some of you are, how we are doing so far with the pledge campaign for 2022-2023? That's a tongue twister. My number one measure of success for the campaign is to receive a pledge from every member household and from all our active St. John's friends. I want everyone who cares about St. John's to pledge and to give the amount that is right for them. Achieving that goal of 100% pledges would mean that about 170 pledges will be received. So far, we are at, I need kind of a drum roll here. Thank you, 41% of that goal. That means that over 100 households are still pondering their pledge, still having conversation around the dinner table about what their budget will allow them to give for the coming year, are perhaps still searching in their stack of mail to find that pledge packet I mailed a month ago. You may be wondering why the April 15th date matters. Well, two reasons, really. The first is that the board is already working hard on creating the budget for next year, and they will need to know how much money we are all going to contribute. Also, starting like next week, I will be passing out names to our campaign team so that they can contact all the members and friends whom we have not heard from yet. Now, I love my team of volunteers. I'm not going to call them out by name, but they're great. They help every year, and I'm grateful for their assistance. But I'm hoping that we can receive a flood of pledges this week in order to reduce the work for your fellow congregants who care so much about St. John's that they volunteer to do that follow-up work. For those 70 households who have made their pledge, thank you. We appreciate your generosity. Whatever amount you gave, we really appreciate it. And for the 100 households we are waiting to hear from, please pledge today. Your order of service, I forgot to bring it up here to show you, but everybody pull up your order of service and look in the announcement section. Includes quick links for members and friends to make their pledge online. You don't even have to find that packet in your stack of junk mail. If you have questions or want a paper pledge form, I do have them, and I will be around after the service and after today's congregational meeting, or you can always email me at pledge@stjohnsuu.org. Thank you from the board and from myself and the group of volunteers who will be doing follow-up calls. Thank you.
Thank you, Joetta. So obviously, there's a lot around, if you look outside today, to be joyful for. And regrettably, I think there's obviously some areas, especially in other parts of the world, that there are areas to be maybe not as happy about, maybe hopeful, but a little sad. So at this time, we invite you to, one, if you choose, to share your joys and concerns. We'll be happy to read them out loud afterwards. Also online, there's a link where you can share those through the chat. And also, please come up and place a stone that would represent your joy and concern. So there was one joy for David Terry. I would also like to offer, in this moment, I offered a stone for the people of Ukraine. It's an interesting time that we live in right now, so it's hard right now to watch CNN in the morning, for example. But I think it's had an interesting conversation in the way in with my girlfriend, and we had passed one of the churches, and it said, there was a sign up and said, pray for Ukraine. And it kind of struck, because in some ways it feels kind of hollow. Yes, obviously, we should pray for them. I mean, what the people are going through there is less than human. But it's difficult to sit back and watch it happen. And it kind of had that feeling of, yes, we should obviously pray for them, but what else can we do? And so I would like to offer this time for them that however we can help them, we do that. So. So Kathy, that's all right. We missed it too. Yes, for hymn 16.
Oh, there we go, okay. Our reading today is from Matthew 6, 1 through 7. Beware of practicing your piety before others in order to be seen by them, for then you have no reward from your Father in heaven. So whenever you give alms, do not sound a trumpet before you, as the hypocrisies do in the synagogues and in the streets, so that they may be praised by others. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward. But when you give alms, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your alms may be done in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. And whenever you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, as they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and at the street corners, so that they may be seen by others. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward. But whenever you pray, go into your room and shut the door and pray to your Father who is in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. We will now have Charles Spencer come forward to introduce the split the plate.
I'm honored to introduce to you David McDonald, who is a leader at the Cincinnati Interfaith Workers Center and involved in it since its early days. Cincinnati Interfaith Workers Centers is our Split the Plate organization this month. And they have been several times in the past. Many of you are going to be aware of them. But David's going to tell you a few important things about the center. My own experience tells me that community-based solidarity, with workers defending workers' rights is important to the well-being of our whole community and to our congregation. David, it's great to have you here. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, sir. Oh. Can y'all hear me now? How y'all doing today? My name is David McDonald. I'm from the Cincinnati Interfaith Worker Center. I've been with the Worker Centers for 8 years. Let me tell you about me. 56, I grew up downtown. I went to Taft High School in Deer Park. First time I ever got involved with organizing was with the janitors. I was a janitor making low wages, and me and a couple of workers decided we need a union. And we thought, well, we was just dreaming. 8 months later, SEIU showed up at our door. And the manager, he was part of a union family. He told us to go meet him. So we went up there and met him. So I was so scared about the union. You know, everybody tell different stories until you find out what you find out about who you are with the union. So I joined. So I become an organizer. I met a young man named Matt Ryan, told me to be the best I could be when I do what I do. So I met Brennan at Cincinnati Interfaith Worker Center. I used to come and volunteer, helping him out. So recently, we had a campaign with the Black Lives Matters, a one-day strike for all the workers. I was part of it, and it felt so good that I stood up for the community and for other workers in this world. And right now we got like ICE out the Hamilton County Justice Center. We did immigration rights. We do OSHA training. We do, excuse me, healthy and safety training. So we have a big event coming up May 1st called the May Day Brunch. And it's for the community. I'm welcome. I want everybody to come and excuse me, pardon me. I want everybody to come enjoy themselves at the picnic we having on May 1st from 3 to 5. Also, we came out while we was doing the pandemic. We came out with a new logo of shirts and hoodies. What I have on today is a new hoodie. The old shirts just was the printout. Now we got faces on them. Let everybody know we are solidarity with everybody throughout all cultures. I don't see myself better than nobody. So if you need help with an organization, I'm here. I will stand up. I'll be the first one on the line, because I'm not backing down from nobody, because we need to live in a place that have rights at our jobs, in our homes, in our government. We just need it. All this today is bogus. So I'm here today to thank y'all for having me to come up here. And yes, I will be here all day, and I will be in the picture room. I have leaflets and pamphlets for you to see. If you have any questions, you can come and talk to me. Thank you.
And that's in this end, the picture wall in the Cold Pfeiffer. And we'll have leaflets that you might be interested in following up on and so on.
Thank you, David. So we have gone back to the tradition of taking our offertory and passing it through the congregation. So I'd like to invite the greeters up, if you could, and collect the offertory. Keep in mind that today it is a split the plate, so we will generously provide for those in need around us. Peng Cheng. Morning. Yeah, I don't like it up there. This is, to me, it's much more comfortable. So, as I mentioned in the beginning, I spent 6 years in seminary. I happen to be a member of the second largest group in the world, and that is a former Catholic. So, yeah, obviously there's a lot of us in the audience, so it's a pretty big club. But I will readily admit there are pieces of my experience in the Catholic Church that I miss. One of the things when I was in seminary, we would have to do a day of reflection or an hour of reflection. And I remember in the beginning, it was so difficult because the process would be that we would have a piece of scripture. We would sit in chapel. They'd read the piece of scripture, and we had to sit there and think about it for an hour. Yeah, I know. It was painful. Well, did we lose it? Oh, there it's back. The hard part was that in the beginning, the scripture passage was not meant to be theological. It was meant to be more of a reflection on ourselves. What did we do? What didn't we do? Why did we do what? I think in some ways, how could we be better? And the beginning of that process for me was hard because it was kind of like I really didn't want to look at myself that deeply. Sometimes it's kind of like when you open that closet door, you keep it closed all the time, and you look inside, you don't always like what you see. And so the reason I picked the passage today from the Gospel of Matthew was not because of the theological side, but it was that sense of Christ asking us, why do we do what we do? What's our real motivation? And I remember sitting in those days of reflection. And the first year, it was so hard. I was like done in 5 minutes. It was like, okay, I'm ready, let's go. But over time, they became almost fun. Because as I started to embrace this process, I found that they actually made me a better person. Because they invited me to look at things that I would not necessarily have looked at as deeply or as closely if I had not gone through that moment of reflection. Some were more difficult than others. Some were uplifting. Some were, yeah, I can do better at this. I kind of do that, and I shouldn't do that, or whatever. So the theme I wanted to think about and ask you, goes on, your week goes on, is to join in your own reflection, is why do we do the right thing? Why do we do it? So the example is, I spent a fair amount on the East Coast. Now, in Jersey, you have the Garden State Parkway. The Garden State Parkway is this gorgeous highway that goes down through the middle of Jersey, and it's like a NASCAR speedway. Because you get to a certain point, and we all know what the speed limit is. At that point, it was like 65 or 70. If you weren't doing 100, you were in people's way. The irony is, we followed the speed limit. We all knew what it was. We didn't follow it until we saw a blue flashing light up in the distance. And all of a sudden, all the people going 100 starting going 65. And it's amazing. We all drove 65 until that blue flashing light in our rearview mirror. And all of a sudden, when we felt safe, we started driving 100 again. Did we know what the right thing was? Yeah, we did. Did we do it because it was the right thing? Probably not. We did it because we were afraid. I didn't want a ticket. Ticket going 100 miles an hour in Jersey was, I think they called it reckless driving at that point. It's 3 points in your license and a fine that was a couple $100. I didn't want to pay the fine. So I did what was right because of the fear of punishment, not because there was some moral imperative that caused me to slow down. So I have to ask myself, that is an easy answer. There was, how fast do I drive? But for me, when I hear Matthew's gospel, there are so many pieces in my life that I have a choice to make. I choose what to do. I choose, or not, what I believe is the right thing. But why do I do it? Do I really do it sometimes because it's the right thing? Or do I do it sometimes because I'm afraid of what the outcome would be, the punishment would be? Because of what somebody else is going to think of me because I do it? Or won't think? Do it because there's some kind of pressure, socially, family, whatever, that's saying, do this. Regrettably, I would say for myself, I probably can take any of those answers. They've applied at one point, probably each day. And so my invitation to you is to, if you choose, is ask yourself that question today, this week, whenever you have that moment. And to have that sense of reflection of saying, the things we do. Why do we do the right thing in that moment? And my hope for you is the process has the same outcome it's had for me. And that while it may be difficult at the beginning, difficult to do, it may be challenging, we may not always find that which we want to find, but I truly believe in the bottom of my heart that it's made me a better person. And when I do take the time out to have that reflection, that at the end of the day, I can sit back and say, I'm really thankful that I did it, as difficult as it may have been, because I'm a better person then than I was before I did it.
It doesn't sound like it. Are we ready? You can hear me? Okay, there we go. Thank you, choir. That was beautiful. I do have a few announcements. Aaron Zoller, if you could come forward and tell us about the upcoming auction.
I was looking at the awards for quiet service to the church over in the chapel, and I will never win that. I'm not quiet about anything I do. Anywho, hello. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Erin Zoller, and I am the lead chairperson guru for the auction, which is a little bit different this year. The hat, many of you recognize it. You know it means auction season, but really I wear it so you can find me. And you can't tell me later that you couldn't find me because it's like a highlighter on my head. So, anywho, it's a little bit different this year. It's going to be in the afternoon from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. We're hoping that encourages more families and kids to come. We're working on having free childcare, but also kids are welcome to kind of accompany adults and join in the fun if they want to. We haven't done this in a few years, right? We need to get back into the spirit of this auction, okay? We're having it in the spring. I'm hoping that means we can open the doors and maybe have some outside spaces to be in. But I want everybody to remember that this is an entire congregation, an entire community event. It's not, are you doing something for the auction? It's what are you doing for the auction? Seriously, are you coming? Are you bidding? Are you offering something? Are you volunteering? Everybody can play a part, and everyone needs to play a part. My current understanding of the space-time continuum means I can only be in one place at a time. And there are lots of things that go on the day of the auction that happen simultaneously. I need help to do that. I've really broken down what I'm calling the team leads into really bite-sized, manageable parts. I just need people to own them. And I have it all figured out. Nobody has to reinvent the wheel. I have a list of who those people are, the jobs that they would do on the fact sheet. And so please come talk to me about that. We really can't do this with just me. So I've already been getting offerings sent by email. I know I handed out a bunch of sheets last week. The auction is in 4 weeks from yesterday. So I need all of the offerings by, hold on. It's not on here. Oh dear. Oh, it's on the offering sheet. Hold on. Yeah. Yesterday. Forms due by Sunday, April 24th, so 2 weeks from today, because I have to have time to make the auction book. So it is impossible not to find a way to get me your offering. We've got, you can email me, auction@stjohnsuu.org. You can put it in on a piece of paper in the fundraising mailbox. You can just email me the information. You can scan the form, whatever you want to do. If you have questions, please ask me. The auction email comes directly to my personal Gmail account, so I can get it right away and answer your questions. In terms of offerings, I've heard rumors that people are excited about hosting dinners. That's very exciting. If you're still not comfortable with a lot of in-person events, or you want to host maybe something outside, people have hosted picnics or tours or walks around gardens together. You can make dinner and drop it off. I know Greg Francis, when he was at his old church, one of the hot items was he would vacuum your car while you ate his famous tuna salad sandwich. Everyone has something to offer. Do you knit? give me a scarf. Do you want to teach someone to knit? Offer that as a service. We've had resume editing. We've had make you a birthday cake in the middle of the year. I think my very favorite thing I ever won was Nancy Henry did quiche for all seasons. So I got 4 quiches, one for each season of the year. It was amazing. You can bring things to eat right after the auction. People take them home, or you can offer to give them throughout the year. The possibilities are endless, and every time I've ever talked to anyone who says, I don't have anything to offer, we always come up with something. It could be a gift card. It could be a movie night gift basket. We will arrange the gift baskets for you. We'll put it together. You just give us the stuff. I can work with ideas. So ask me if you're not sure. Everybody has something to give. So come find my hat later, and I'll give you fact sheets and answer your questions, and very interested to find out what each and every one of you will be doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Erin. I also need to remind you that we have a special congregational meeting immediately after the service today. We're going to be voting on the sanctuary restoration work, so that's very important that all members are present for that. We will need to have a quorum. And I think that's all of the announcements at the moment. If you could open your hymnal to number 300 with heart and mind. And Kathy, please come forward.
It was a true honor and a pleasure to be here with you today. I really want to thank Melissa for her help and her guidance and her being here. It made things so much easier. Just a reminder, as Melissa said, there is a special congregational meeting literally right afterwards service. After that, go enjoy the day. It's gorgeous outside. After it's been like freezing cold yesterday, now it's going to be in the 60s. It's sunny. So let us end, but go in peace. Thank you. They have the mic off. Never mind.
Oh, thank you, Dave.